We are activating your unique self-discovery one show at a time. The Orchard of Wisdom Self-Discovery podcasts are at your fingertips, just waiting to inspire and invite you in discovering just how awesome you really are and how to navigate through life in joy, enrichment, personal abundance, in mind, body, spirit, heart, and soul. All the people we bring you are here to serve you on your journey of life. Do enjoy our next show. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Ignite Your Heart and Soul right here in selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my guest today is Julie Carmen. The Indigenous soul is what keeps us alive and connects us to all. What a beautiful statement, our Indigenous soul. And it's what keeps us alive and connects us to all of the planet and the solar system. The all is how we connect with all people and with all the Indigenous soul. By having Indigenous soul, you are from this planet, from the solar system galaxy, and a part of the movement it has. Each solar system galaxy has a movement and a purpose, as we do here on Earth. She said she is a woman of Mexican descent, Indigenous ancestry. Her grandparents came from the state of Zacatecas, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, in Mexico. She's a mother of 3 or 5 grown children and a grandmother of 27. Oh my God, I've got my second one coming, and I thought that was a big feat. And a great grandmother of 10. And in this time of life, her grandchildren are her loving self of life as they bring into her life so much meaning. And that's why she does the work and the word that she does. She comes from a long line of crusaders, the Sierra of Alma, walking in both worlds of the physical and the non-physical, being in the knowing of both of them from birth and walking with them for all eternity. And at times in struggle in the human realm of being. This is how the School Without Walls came to be. As we walk this earth, we are human and Alma beings walking both worlds, whether we are conscious of the fact or not. So why not awaken to it all, both worlds, as both worlds can have boundaries, hence the creation of the School Without Walls. Really beautifully put here. I am 100% in sync with you here. I always say that we're beautiful cosmic spiritual beings having a human experience. And that human experiences allows us the touch, the taste, the consumption, the feel that the spirit has in a different form of energy and a different form of experience. And you put the two together and you really do have a divine experience. But we are rather inclined to get caught up in the human head and the humanoid psyche, and we are forgetting that our soul is the wisdom that resonates with our heart and truth, that lifts our spirit into action for our minds to know what our minds need to know when it needs to know it. But we're too busy conducting this expectation of life that lets us down anyway. Welcome to the show, Julie.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate this. And wow, what an introduction. I like that. I wrote it.
You did.
Yeah, I went, wow, that was really cool. So, yeah, so just FYI, my name's Julia.
Oh,
Um,
Julia, sorry.
yeah, it's okay. Yeah, a lot of people. And then Zacatecas, I know the Spanish words, well, Mexican, the Spanish, Zacatecas, and it's curandera. That's another curandera is a seer. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. You said something else, and I thought, oh,
Probably, yes. A
well, I
dyslexia
kind of
don't know
liked
how
it.
to pronounce things.
No, 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 Sarah, I liked it. I thought, oh, I never heard it that way. I kind of like
Bring my British tone to everything I do, right? Yeah.
it's just like, oh, curry. What did you say? Curry. I don't know. I thought of an art gallery is
Mm,
what I thought of. I thought, oh yeah, I guess we are that, aren't we?
mm.
As far as we're. How do you say the word now? I can say a lot of words in Spanish, but the English sometimes gets me. I can't remember what word you use, but
I don't
the
know. I've gone blank of that, but it's going to pop out to us later, and then we'll just blurt it out. So, you know,
yeah, I love it.
I'm a seer as well, and we are all seers in some form or other. Some of us just a little more volumized on it. When I see things in complete movies. When I see
Mm,
possibilities for people, I see the extreme of where those possibilities can go. They've got to
mm,
walk it. I can just see what's there for them, right? Um,
exactly.
when we decide to actually open up our soul's wisdom and kind of channel that wonderful knowledge and let it resonate with our heart and our spirit, awakens into that action, it's exciting, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's very exciting, Sarah. Yeah. So, yeah, I was born like this. I
You
come
did.
from a long line of curanderas. So there's different, just like in here in the States, there's different like healers, I guess you would call them, right? Yeah. So my mom was a curandera del cuerpo. She was a massage person and did a
Mm-hmm.
lot of work de la hierba, you know, curandera de la hierba, would translate into the seer of the weed,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
the plant, so like, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
kind of deal. So the line that I took was seer of the seers, curandera de las curanderas. So I work mostly with persons that are already established pretty much. Yeah. And then, work with them. I call them the point people in this world. Yeah, kind of do.
Yeah,
So,
they're the guardians, aren't they?
mhm.
We're in an incredible transition right now. And I have a brother in England, and I speak to him every Saturday, and it's all about everything that's going wrong with the world. And I said, well, while you're busy looking at everything going wrong, there are millions and millions and millions of us who are already putting things right. And you just don't choose to see it. All right. And
Oh,
we don't choose to advertise it on the normal platform. This is why we do the podcast, where we can be more intimate, where we can be more inviting, where we can really share our energy safely. But the transition is already in place. The movement is already in flow. As I say, you can't put the baby back in the womb, right? We're born, baby, and we're growing fast.
amen. No, this is truth. Total truth. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. No, that's the truth. Yeah. So that's nice to hear. I have a big family, come from a big, nine, well, there was 12 of us. And yeah, it's been a challenge. Through the years, it's been a challenge because they always kind of looked at me like,
Yes,
Jules
I
is
know.
kind of a, yeah. But now
Coming to take you away, haha. Yes. Yeah, I know.
well, now they're cool with it. But when I was growing up, yeah. And my mom wasn't open for
Mm,
me being who I be
exactly.
because she passed in 2019, so she was pushing 100.
Mm.
So her and my aunties in Mexico, they weren't very keen on me coming out in that way because it
No, no,
wasn't safe during their
it
time.
wasn't safe. The ridicule was way too bad. I mean, I'm 68. I don't know where you're at. I was born this way as well, and it was people would congregate around you when you were in your wisdom flow because you just speak what they need to know. You're channeling it. It comes out. You're doing what they need to hear. And but then after that, they don't want to associate with you in case anybody else notices, right? And it can be a very lonely life as a seer, or as seer here,
Mhm.
a spiritual guide. It can be a very lonely life because of the people who just don't really quite know how to handle us. I would say now, in this era, we're being seen, we're being more celebrated, we're being more embraced for who and what we are. But,
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but growing up, it was a real push and pull, a push to come to me and get what they needed to know, and then, just push me away. And it was a lonely life.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I agree with you. In my line of ancestral, um, my mom and that line of indigenous people, we were very cool with it.
Yeah,
It wasn't anything. It's when the overculture came in and then said, "Oh no, you cannot be. You cannot be who you be. You need to
yeah.
be us." So that ancestral genocide and
Mhm.
taking all that away. That was what my mother was afraid of.
Yes.
My aunties were. They did their work, but it was kind of on the low.
Yeah.
When they saw me, they went, "Oh my gosh, how are you going to protect her? Because it's not safe out there in the world. Because overculture will come and squash her." So I had support, but it was like you're talking about, kind of
Yeah.
on the low.
Yes, the underground. Yeah.
Even in my
The
own family.
underground movement, yes. Which in a lot of ways, spirit can't be contained. There are no walls, there are no boundaries, right? It is free. And it doesn't matter where you are, underground or up in the cosmos, that spirit, if it's within you, it's always with you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yes.
so we couldn't do anything else other than what we are here to do because the spirit is so very prominent. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's and there, we have to, and I think now, I mean, you've got this, I don't know if you've seen it, but like Fox News and everything talking about wokeism, woke, woke, woke. And I think, no, you've just woken up, baby. It isn't wokeism, it's that you're waking up to that there is something different out there. There's a higher consciousness. And it's kind of funny in a lot of ways to see how it's being embraced now, because you've got the people that go, thank you. I
Mm-hmm.
finally can be, or I can step into that higher frequency. And then you've got the other people where it's like it's still a conspiracy to be woke.
Well, this is true. What you said, it's so true. Yeah, yeah. I um, hang out with a lot of. I hang out in Hawaii. I have a lot of good.
Place I want to go.
I know. Oh, you haven't been there. I'm going to my
Mm-mm.
little pigeon.
No,
Oh
I've
my
never
gosh,
been there,
Sarah,
and I
you
want to.
would
It's bucket
love it.
list. I know I would.
Yeah, you would. I hear you though. I hear you. Yeah,
Yeah.
you would love it. Um, yeah. So I've hung out with the Hawaiians, and then I used to do a lot of work in Indian country here and all over. And I just feel like I'm going home when I
Yes.
go. They just like, because it's safe. It's
Mm.
safe to be who I be
Mhm.
because it's normal. And
Yes.
because when my family came here to, when the border moved, let's just put it that way, um, that was something we had to simulate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big thing to simulate. So I just kind of went, okay. But we did our thing. My mom did her yervas, and she did her massage. People would come over. She'd do her healing, and I would do my thing. But every time we go to Mexico or wherever I went, it was like, oh, I know you. And I'm sure you probably get that too,
Yeah.
Sarah. Oh, I know you. And then I just feel like, oh, I could breathe. But in this overculture that we're in, I did assimilate. I ran a nonprofit for 20 years, just kind of did my own thing there to bring things back to the community. And I learned real quick that you needed to be in that human realm and be very
Yes.
structured and not to say things. And so that was okay. That was fine. I needed to do that for a minute. Yeah.
Well, you kind of really channeled that spirit in the nonprofit, but just didn't label it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was very different. Yeah. I don't use high and low and
Hmm.
frequencies. I use light,
Hmm.
minor the frequency, the middle, and then the dense. Yeah.
Yes.
So the dense frequency is what we worked with, my daughter and I.
Hmm.
That was in my 40s to my 50s. Yeah,
Hmm.
no more than that. I don't remember. 20 years. We just figured it out. Yeah. But I did this work over here. I did
Hmm.
my work. I did retreats. I mean, I did my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's a challenge.
It's a journey in itself, and for the people that now, in their 30s and 40s that have stepped into this, beautiful spiritual beings that they are, and are speaking it openly and
Mhm.
embracing it. There's always the people before that laid the path for them, made it safe, and it's hard to think that here we are in 2023, and you still got people resisting. Resistance is futile, folks. It's the
Mhm.
volume's already changed. We're already rising. There is no going back. However much you protest, it's just not going to happen. It's like tantrum child kicking and screaming, you know,
Mhm.
the change is there. But I think for them, I don't think they realize actually how lucky they are. Because I know from past lives being cleared from me that I had at least 50 of them of persecution, where, you know, burnt at the stake, dunked in the water, you know, I just torn and quartered, you name it, because
Mhm.
I came here thousands of years ago as a spiritual being, a spiritual consciousness, willingly to help human beings always have that connection,
Mhm.
always have that higher elevation. So no matter what I've done in my lifetimes, there's always been some fundamental part of that. But as you said, you have to also embrace the human side, which is not only necessary for roof over the head, but it's also in a way how we connect. We step up into the human realm doing the human work, but always with the spiritual drive.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe you've heard it. We exist because we resist.
Mm,
Yeah, that's something that is used a lot in my circles. Yeah, of all of that. And I go, yeah, that's true. We exist because we resist. When you mention that yeah, it's important. Yeah, I have all those grandchildren, and
yes.
yeah,
What? I've got a second one coming up and it's
I know.
hallelujah. You go, what?
I saw that. I saw that on your website, and I was like, "Ooh!" I mean, on your house, oh, it's the best club to be in. The
Mm,
first and the
being a
27th.
grandparent. Mm,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
that's like the best.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have one of my granddaughter, Juliana. She's my apprentice and so on. And I shared with her. I said, "Mija, when she's going through a rough spot, she's it's un curandita, yeah." And I said, "You know what, Mija? I'm fine being the soil for you.
Mm,
Yeah, I am so fine being the
yeah.
soil for you, so that you can exist, so that you can thrive." And when she's like struggling, I go, "Hey, Mija, don't make this for naught."
Yes.
And she's great. She's like, "Oh, I know, hon." I said, "My ancestors did the same thing. They
Mm,
had to hide, and it wasn't easy for them, um, being in this world, being told to shut up,
yeah.
you know,
Yes.
like this, centuries of
Yeah.
shut
Yeah.
up,
Oh,
shut up,
yeah.
shut
Yeah.
up.
Oh boy. Yeah. Did you ever lose yourself? Because for about 8 years in my life, even though I looked like I was still high functioning, I was still even doing my spiritual work.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember a reader reading for me and saying, but you're not even existing in your own life. You're not even here on the map,
Mm-hmm.
because I had retreated. I had gone into kind of that darkness and I could see the light over there, but I was kind of safe in the dark. And I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to come out until eventually I came out kind of blinded by the light and then feeling the shadows chasing me. And then got to a point where I realized, oh, I love going into the darkness now because I am the light in the dark. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a, it's not an escape, it's a
Mm-hmm.
rejuvenation.
Amen. I mean, you're the interviewer. How long was that for you, Mija? You
That
know,
was about an 8 year period that I
it's
went through that.
interesting.
And
Yeah.
it was because I was in a tumultuous marriage, and
Mm-hmm.
then the kids and so much of me wanted to come out and yet was being suppressed. And so kind of
Mm-hmm.
you know what it's like being a CEO. Our psyches are sensitive, right?
Yeah,
They're very sensitive. And
pretty
I
much.
couldn't kind of take any more. And so it was a retreat of my psyche.
Mhm. Yeah, that's interesting. From 38, I think, so 38 to 48, about 10 years, somewhere in there, I developed epileptic seizures.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, yeah, and I know what I was doing,
Mm.
not, I just got tired.
Yes.
Yeah, I just got tired. I was having babies, and well, the last one, I have my last one. I started early when I was about 17, and all from the same person. And my body just shut down.
Yeah.
It just
Can
said,
only take so much.
yeah, I said, I don't want to do anymore. And yeah, I was down for that long.
Mm.
I mean, no license, had to have somebody with me 24/7.
I wasn't like that. I was still functioning because that again, nobody saw anything wrong in my life, because I
Oh.
suppose I lived a really good facade, and I was still kind of spiritually being able to help other people and raise my three kids, only three. But, having a tumultuous marriage and never knowing who's coming home, which personality,
Mm, mm,
and, is it one you retreat from or ready to be on guard with, or, um, and it's, and I don't know, I think it was also very much kind of, it was around the late 90s, and around 94 and 95, so many people awoke into a spirit. They became the leaders, that they were very logical, rational type jobs. And suddenly something happened to awaken them to go down a spiritual path and become those leaders and those guiders. And I think it was around that time.
mhm,
And I went to a woman who used her pendulum to get rid of lifetimes, and she removed 152 lifetimes. We later found another 50 that was in the cellular tissue. But it was interesting because when I asked my husband for a divorce, he actually said, that bloody pendulum woman took the control I had over you away from me,
mm,
which was so interesting. So she freed me, and it was around the 94, right?
mhm,
That time period where there was enormous spiritual surge of awakening.
mhm,
And, it then became part of my transition to kind of come out of the dark and step
mhm.
into who I am now and what my purpose is. Um, it's still, amongst the tornado and the chaos. But I was realizing I didn't have to have calm around me. I could be the calm.
Mhm.
Right.
No, that's great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I still function.
Mm,
That's beautiful. I still function somewhat in between because I was what do you call that? The OCD. Everything
right.
had to be perfect. Yeah. So I
I'm
started.
ADD, not
Yeah, yeah.
OCD.
Oh, yeah, yeah. AD. I'm not that anymore. I'm not any of that. But I was trying to hold everything in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, and I was kind of functioning here and there, but I still had to have someone drive me. I had to have somebody with me because
Well, especially with epilepsy, right? Because you don't know
yeah,
when it's going to come on.
yeah. And in between there had mini strokes.
Mm.
Yeah. And
This was all kind of your redirect, wasn't it? This is, I always feel that when these type of things come, they come for a reason. And you're kind of the little cosmic 2x4 saying, okay, if you're not listening to the signs and you're not paying attention to where you're going, I'm going to completely flatten you,
well,
so that you can grow from the roots into where you need to grow.
yeah, something like that, I would say, something like that. But more, it was my need for wanting to be normal.
What's
That's
normal?
yeah. No, no, no.
But no,
Yes.
but what is normal?
But I mean, when you're 38 and you're having your
Yeah.
fifth kid, it's
Yes.
I'm like, and everything. I agree with you, Mija. Everybody just thought everything was perfect in my
Yes.
life. And I just kind of went, it's not perfect. It's not, it's kind of like, eh. But I just said, I don't want to see anymore.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired. And so I was
Hmm.
38 years old. I said, no. And then once the seizures and epilepsy came in, I said, okay. But somebody asked me, one of my students asked me, she goes, it took you that long? I said, I'm a little stubborn. I'm
Yes. Yeah. I'm
a little stubborn.
I'm stubborn in as, and I'm horribly loyal, and I give people a chance way longer,
Hmm.
and just, and basically until they've kind of chomped you up and spat you out. It's like, I should have left a long time ago or changed the
Hmm.
situation a long time ago, but I'm always feeling, that from liberating them, and then it's my fault, that whole persecution thing. All right. So the human condition, all
Exactly.
right, the blame,
Hmm.
the shame, it's all my fault, I'm not worthy, which is not spirit, but that is definitely a human condition.
Oh, amen. I was talking to one of my sisters and I was sharing something about um, my ex and stuff. And I went into this big long story and she goes, oh my gosh, sis. And I go, what? She goes, it took you that long? And I go, oh yeah. She goes, 3 hours. I would have figured it out.
Yes.
I said, whatever, sis. That's
Yeah.
we had a great laugh. And
Hmm.
she loves her ex-brother-in-law. Everybody does. So it was like, yeah, it's fine. And so I'm just a little, in my human self, I get a little
Yeah.
stuck. That's all.
Well, it's also, you had 5 kids, I had 3, and it's like, it's I don't want to affect their security, their upbringing. And then it was my kids that came to me and said, "This is ridiculous. Time for a divorce."
Aren't they wonderful?
Yes. And that's the thing, we sell our kids short, don't we? The more that we actually help them stay within that beautiful spiritual essence of who they are, that beautiful sparkle dust, and let them, really follow that intuitive path of theirs and explore their purpose here in life. But what do? We pick them up, and now you've got to go to school and conform, or religion conform,
Mhm.
societies conform, and all of that beautiful consciousness, we just switch off inside of them. And then later on, we wonder why humans are having a hard time, because, they were always meant to be that beautiful spiritual light, and it's begging to come back out again. But
Mhm.
why don't we just nurture it from children? Why don't we allow the child, instead of us dictating, you must be just dysfunctional like everyone else? Why don't we follow them and see where they can take us?
Yeah, that's what's so great about grandchildren.
Yes, I know. My grandson's going to be 2 this
Mhm.
coming week, and then my daughter in about 2 weeks after that is going to have another one. Uh,
Oh.
this little one is has Down syndrome, so we know that we're up a little bit of a challenge, but my grandson, I mean, it's just, as a grandparent, it's so different from being a parent,
Oh, yes.
and there's just like so much more time to kind of, I'm going to be moving closer so that I can help, but I go every 2 weeks now and stay for a few days. And we have a Thursday date going to our play group, which is what grandma does. Mom and dad don't. This is my play group with him, right? And we have our own language and everything else. And it's just, I think it's because we're not worrying about the next meal, the education, the this, the that, everything else. We can just enjoy them in the moment.
Mhm. Sarah, what do they call you? Your
Nana,
grandbaby? Nana.
Nana.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Oh.
hoping Gamma, but it's the moment he sees me, he's up the door there, Nana, and they FaceTime me, and so I Nana.
So
So
that's it. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm Gigi. And
yeah. No,
yeah.
the other grandmother is Gigi,
Yeah.
because she
Mhm.
also lives on the same lot, and I'm going to be moving there. They're putting a house on the same lot, so we're all going to
Oh,
be together,
oh,
which is going to be neat. But she's Gigi.
mhm.
I kind of feel more Gigi than I do Nana, but Nana is what he's called me, and that's what it is,
I
right?
was gonna
Yeah,
say, I love it. Yeah, no, they're the best. They're
yeah.
the total best. And I hear you about that. Like I shared, I started having babies at 17, and the last one I had I was 33. So lots of, yeah. So my last son, Luca, when he's 30 something now, but when he was going to turn 18, I said, "Oh my gosh, mijo, I'm going to throw you the I'm when you turn 18, I'm going to throw the oh, I'm going to throw this party." And he said, "Oh, you're going to throw me a party?" I said, "Hell no, it's for me." I've been parenting in my teens and my 20s and 30s. I'm
Yes.
pushing 50 now, mijo. And you know what? I'm not going to be responsible for another human being after you're 18. I mean, financially, or
Right. Yeah.
you can make a boo boo. My boys got into a lot. So I'm like, you make a boo boo.
It's on you. Yeah.
It's
Yes.
like,
Yeah. And I was 28 with my first one,
mm-hmm,
and so now she's 40, right?
mm-hmm.
And my son's turning 39 this year, and my daughter is 34, be turning 35 this year. She's the one that's having the second child, and
She's
it's like,
beautiful.
mm?
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I was thinking out loud. She's beautiful. I saw a picture of her.
Oh,
Yeah,
which
you
picture
got it.
was it? The one in the red dress?
I
Oh,
think so. Yeah, recent one because I got on the
yes,
Instagram.
I found all their grad pictures and kind of thought I put them up, because this is who they used to be. And I think it's like sometimes we go through life and you think, what have I done with everything? And then a picture pops up and it reminds you what you were doing. Right. But I hear you about the kids, and I'm the kind of the one, quote, quote, that left home.
Mhm.
All right, because I was now separated on the way to a divorce, and now it's my time to explore who I was. And 5.5 years single, and then into another relationship that my kids hated. But this person did believe in all the things that I could do, where everybody else had always told me what I couldn't do.
Oh,
And so it was very much a beautiful ignition of my spirit again, of trusting what I could do. But again, I stayed too long.
you definitely are an hermanita. I can relate.
A glutton for punishment, honestly. I'm now totally single, not a date inside. But it's I'm always referring to a book of life, of various chapters. And I've just written my memoir. I don't know if you've written yours yet, but I hope you are, because you've obviously got a great deal to share. And it's interesting rereading when you're editing and you're reading it, what the theme is. And for me, what I felt there was a lot of feeling as I was sadness because I felt so disconnected to humanity. All I could see was humans hurting each other. And I just didn't want to be a part of that. But also because nobody understood you as that spiritual being, you felt all alone because nobody really saw you. Did you
Mm.
feel that?
Well, yes and no, Mija. I don't, because it sounds like similar. I don't know what it feels. I call them peeps, just to generalize it, because as soon as you say angels, guides,
Yeah.
ancestors, people start putting pictures there.
Yes.
I don't know what it feels like not to have my
Right.
non-physical beings ever. So I never felt alone,
Right.
ever.
In my spirit, I never did, but as a
No, no,
human, I did.
even in the human realm.
No, I did in
No,
the
honest,
human.
no, yeah, I'm not joking because people
Yeah.
ask me that question. I said, no, I just didn't quite get humans. That's all.
Um, yeah.
That was kind of like, that's interesting.
Mm,
And so like in 2016, I said, I've been around humans for a long time. Maybe I need to like kind of check this human thing out. And I moved to Montana and I stayed there till the beginning of 2021. And that's when I decided I really want to experience, I'm my whole thing, school without walls, walking in both
yeah.
worlds, fully awake. Yeah.
Yes.
And so I thought, maybe I should check this out. So I thought, oh shit, no wonder people are lonely.
Yes.
Not because I was alone. It was,
Yeah.
it was because I went, oh, this is not comfortable. Not
Right.
that I didn't experience life. I
Yeah.
definitely did.
No, but I 100% hear what you're
Yeah. And I'm
saying is
like,
that, yeah.
yeah, so no, not really. I mean, I'm being honest with you. I never really felt alone. Misunderstood, yes, but
Yes.
not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just kind of,
I think it was alone because I think I was probably more in my spirit, and as a child, I was a sickly child. I
mm,
spent great deal of time in bed with white walls. So off I went dimensional traveling. Otherwise, I would have gone insane.
yeah.
I've always traveled. I'm always off somewhere. And it became kind of happier in the other worlds. And
Mm,
so it was, but also because I think for me, it was what I could do for people. And then when I couldn't do it anymore or they didn't need me anymore, tossed aside. And I think that was just kind of that human journey. But I think probably it is like the word you said, disconnect. Like, don't relate so much to the way some humans are, and it kind of disconnects you. So it's been a battle for me. I will be honest, it's been a battle for me.
Oh no, I didn't say it hasn't. I didn't say that, but you asked, I go, okay. The thing that I've always, as you, it sounds like, I've always had a lot of compassion for other people and
Mm,
self and all, not, yeah, self kind of like, I have to be honest, it was like, so when somebody would die, and I'm thinking you probably had this same experience, like I had a sibling, he passed, and I just see the wonderfulness and
yes,
the rebirthing.
yes,
And then I would notice, my siblings upset and crying, and
yeah,
I would like kind of get okay. And then I thought, well, maybe I'm not being compassionate
no,
enough.
no. You just
And that,
just know there's no walls.
yeah. And so I just decided, okay, let me see what that's like. And then I said, okay. And then I went, oh my gosh, it's not about them. It's never about any.
No.
This is my thing. It's not about them, but it is, but it's not, but it's about me, but it's not, but it's about them kind of deal, but it's
Yeah.
about both, whatever. And then I realized, I said, oh, goo, ooh, this is painful. So I actually hired somebody. I call her my human therapist. I said, hey, I need a human. I picked her out. My peeps always find people for me. And I go, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And this is what I'd like you to help me do. I want to make sure that I'm walking this human existence in the most respectful, loving way that I can. And she cracked up after I worked with her for a few years, and then and still talk story with her every now and then. She kind of cracked up. She goes, I think you're trying to get to where we're all at, where we want to get to.
Right.
And I said, that must be my dyslexia. I said, because she goes, because what you're experiencing is what everybody wants to be. And
Yes.
so she goes, so you're just trying to get back to yourself again. And her and I just cracked up. I said, I guess so. I mean, I went on it with a very intellectual, like, okay, let's try this. But again, Sarah, what I found out that was I wasn't being compassionate to my human self.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It wasn't about other people. Other
Yeah.
people like, oh no, you're the most blah, 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 whatever in there. And I would say, oh, okay. And I went, oh my gosh, I'm not being very kind to myself, up here in the brain thing.
But do you think that's a seer's thing, though? We're so busy. I mean, what I realized I was, constantly being there for other people at my own expense. Because we felt, well, we can. This is what we're here for. This is what we should do. And then you realize, you've got no legs to walk on anymore, So I think it's very much a seer's thing where we don't know, we don't want walls, but there are other boundaries where, now I'm very much in those boundaries where
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not afraid to say no. I can't or I won't because I know how much energy I've got to give. And I know how much time I need to rejuvenate that energy.
Exactly. I call them energetic boundaries
Mm-hmm.
because that's what they are. So I actually teach that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, okay, boom, boom, boom. And so, like, one of my mentors, Mavis, she was a lifesaver. Because when I came out of the epileptic seizures, I said, I need boundaries, human boundaries. And then she said something. She goes, I'm just curious, Julia. So I'm in my late 40s or whatever. And she said, every time you see someone in the non-physical realm of being, do you just let them in? And I go, oh, do I? I didn't even.
I know. There's no wall thing, actually, and we still need to have a vibrational boundary there.
She goes, but you let any human into your house? I said, oh, heavens no. And she says,
Mm-hmm,
hey,
mm-hmm,
let's
mm-hmm.
talk about this. And I went,
Yeah.
okie dokie.
Yeah, exactly. Light bulb moment, right?
Yeah. So
Exactly.
then I went, oh, shucks, because you don't know what you don't
No,
know.
exactly. And you may know it when you're talking to other people, but you're unaware that that's actually what you're doing yourself, right? So,
Mhm.
and I always say these things are really good kind of kick in the butts and reminders. Hey, what you're busy preaching is what you're busy doing,
Oh, God,
the other
yes.
way.
Oh, Chihuahuas, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally. Like that old Chinese proverb, student once, teacher,
hmm
student twice.
right,
I
exactly.
learned
Yeah,
more than I learned more than anyone that I could ever teach. I go, oh, yeah, because
yes,
I love people asking me questions.
yeah,
I love questions, and my students are constantly going, I have another question. I said, sure, go with it.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I said, I know where to go get the info, but I don't have the questions. So where would I,
right,
why would I go?
exactly. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where that knowingness for me is that I would blurt something out and you know, I was a kid, or even today, I still do it. And it's, well, how do you know that? Can you repeat it? No. It's gone. I hope you paid attention. That was the message. I have no idea what I just said. Right? But my dad died when I was 11.
Mm,
And I remember my mom and my brother coming into my room and telling me. And the first feeling I felt was relief because he'd had heart problems. He was in and out of pain, but he was also in and out of anguish.
mm.
Right. And it was like, okay, he's free now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, oh God, guilty. I shouldn't be feeling this way over my dad now. And then I forced tears, which became very dramatic. And then they left me alone to get dressed. And I opened the door to my dad's room and I said, I love you, Dad. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
safe travels or something like that. And then I went to my mother and I said, God took the one that was the weakest and left the one that was the strongest. And it was, just came out as it always does with me. It just came out. And when I'm sad for the people that are left behind, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
also sad for the people who die in horrific ways,
Yeah.
because nobody should have that pain in that transition. But death has never been something I'm afraid of. I'm not in a hurry to do it because I've got things to do.
Mm-hmm.
But when my time comes, it's like, okay, I lived a good life. I did what I needed to do. I'm ready to move on
Mm-hmm.
because I believe we're just in these bodies, these vessels to have that human experience. But I am the spirit that will now go to this next chapter or next book of life.
That's beautiful. Yeah, yeah. I have the friends all over and some really good friends in Hawaii, and because I lived there for a while.
Mm.
And one of my friends, Georgia, she said, "You know, Julia, when you leave, I'm just going to go, oh, she's on to her new adventure." I said, "Yes, I taught you well."
Yeah.
She goes, "I don't think I'm going to cry." I said, "You better not." I
But
mean,
no,
it's
and that's
okay.
that's
It's
when we
okay
see a
if you're going to miss
celebration of
me.
life, right? I don't want a
Yeah.
funeral. Duh,
Mhm.
duh, duh, duh. I don't want any of that, right? I want a party throne. I
Mhm.
want everybody to celebrate the goofiness of Sarah and what I've left behind. And the thing is, I don't know about your kids. I mean, it sounds like your grandkids are quite in tuned there, but my kids are kind of proud of what I do,
Mhm.
right? But I'm different when I'm with them because I don't know about you, become a bit of a chameleon around, uh,
Can.
their
Can.
surroundings. You blend into that,
Yeah,
and
can.
and they
Mhm.
don't really see me as
Mhm.
the true me where I am now
Yes.
because they've still got boundaries.
Yes, yeah. My daughter, I have four sons and one daughter. My daughter totally is on board with everything I do. My sons, my youngest is a seer and he's doing his work. My third, all of them are. My third son just came up to me one day and said, and he was like 11 or 12, and he says, I don't want to do this. Like I don't want to see. And I said, okay, babe, you don't have to. You have
Right.
choice on what you want to do.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay. And so we've had our little conversation.
Mm.
But it is so true what you shared because I was 17.
Yes.
And my eldest son's going to be 53. So, there was a lot of human error there.
Yeah. My son is turning 39. Each one of my children has got something of me in them. So their comment
Mhm.
was, well, no wonder you're so screwed up. You
I know, right?
know? So
I
my,
mean, not with you.
it-
I
yeah,
appreciate
yeah, you
it.
understand, right? You relate, right?
Yeah,
So my
related.
son
No.
is very, very intuitive, very spiritual in the way that he is a natural born leader. He's a natural born inspirer. And he has a very deep understanding that the trouble is he's still living too much in the wounded human side of himself.
Mm,
And
mm,
then I'm
mm,
hoping as he grows older, that psyche will dwindle and he will allow more of the spirit because even as a child, he saw people crossing over. He's had always that
mhm.
intuitiveness and he knows that I'm a very spiritual person and sees that, but still sees me as the human because they worry about mom who's on disability, who's going old, what is her future going to be? That's
Oh,
what they see rather than the essence and the abundance of me, right? Because,
oh,
I think the shoe turns around where they start taking, responsibility over you. My oldest is a butterfly. She's a free spirit. She hasn't married. She has a boyfriend, but she hasn't had children. She is a person that goes traveling, and wherever she goes, she leaves a beautiful nectar around that people remember. And so she has a zest for life, a spirit for life that she's always had and is very much with her. And a little of a scatterbrain in the human side of things, but a spiritual being, a light in people's lives. And then I have my youngest, who's the one that's having a baby. She works with people with brain injuries. She's
Mm,
incredibly grounded and sensible. And from a very, very young, she could see the BS in people. And I'm, like that. I can,
mhm,
yeah, you talk all you want. I see you, right? And she's
mhm,
always seeing people from the inside out. And I mean, that's what makes her good at what she does. But she's also um, not as openly spiritual,
mhm.
almost a little afraid of it in a lot of ways, although she actually does live in it and she doesn't know it.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah. That's yeah. My yeah, my adult sons are, like my work, I mean, probably with yourself too, Miha. My work is sacred, not secret. So
Yes,
some people
yes,
like here in Pacifica or even in Hawaii or when I was living in Montana, people go, why don't you like blah blah blah? And I go, like people will find me when they find me. you
when
know
they need you.
yeah, I don't,
Yes,
if I get busy minded, it's because I get excited about
yeah,
something or someone, and
yeah,
then I just kind of get like little cuckoo in the respect that I can get
yeah.
drawn off into what I call, oh, look at the pretty.
Yes,
so,
immersed in that wonderful world. Yeah,
so
yeah,
I mean, it's just, yeah, and so I'm just, yeah, so that my adult children, except for my daughter, they're very amazing beings and they're doing their work, but it's very different. And
yeah,
that was my thing. It's kind of
yeah,
like, oh, wonder why they didn't do that.
yeah,
And just that. My grandchildren definitely, they're quite awake in both
yes.
worlds and doing their things. And I hear you what you're saying. One of my granddaughters wants to go into the medical field and she's very, like she's like myself.
Mm,
And she's like, do I have to be like you? I said, oh, heavens, no.
yeah. No, follow your own path.
If you want a daughter,
Listen
if
to
you
your own
want to,
insight.
yeah, if you want to be blah, blah, let's say everybody uses brain surgeon. I said, if you want to be a brain surgeon, just, get quiet. You do your thing, go to school, get what you need, get quiet, and then you'll see. And everybody will think that you're a genius.
Yeah,
But you
exactly.
don't have to tell everybody you're seeing something.
Right, exactly. And but trust what you're seeing because when you're in that space, it's honoring that space, isn't it?
Mhm.
You can get thrown into doubt sometimes. Am I seeing what I really am seeing? And that again is the human doubt
Oh
that comes
gosh,
in.
yes.
But when we're
Hmm.
actually in the spirit truth, what we know is we don't need to validate, we don't need to justify, it just is. Right. And
Yes.
I think, this is where we need to step out of the human psyche sometimes and just trust the spirit, sit with it, be present with your essence, and you will know where you're meant to be in that next moment. But the old head comes in.
Yeah, I know. One day I was just kind of, sounds like you're very similar. I was just kind of like, look at that brain thing's no bueno. And then one day I said, oh my gosh, I think the brain's like a cult. You- Something about a cult. Because I was watching something. I said, oh, my brain.
Yeah.
I'm the cult leader. Oh, haka maka. That is not right. That's scary, don't you think, Sarah?
Well,
Right?
I think that, because anything spiritual, media, TV, and all of that is trying to make it into an evil cult,
Exactly. Well, I
right?
mean, brain. I'm talking about
Yeah,
the brain itself, just the human brain. I'm not
yeah,
talking
but
about.
that is kind of that human thinking. Is that
Mhm.
if you are in that kind of spirit of allowing, of being, of immersing, you're being controlled, right? And no, I'm not being controlled by my spirit. I'm being guided by my spirit. I've
Yeah.
still got the hands on the wheels. They're just my GPS.
Hmm. But the brain can. Oh, no
Oh, it
bueno.
screws up
It's
royally.
it's so wrong.
Yeah,
That is so rude. I'm
yeah,
just glad I know that my brain is making up stories. Yeah,
mm,
that's all. Because it's
yeah,
separate realities. You could take 10 people
yeah,
and say, hey, in the same household, which I've done, and say, hey, do you remember blah blah? And they go, no. I get 9 different answers, and I
yes,
go, oh my goodness. So I don't trust the brain. I
Right.
trust the brain when it comes to you need to shower, you need to brush your teeth, you know, you
The
need to,
logical thing, don't walk in
yeah,
front of a bus. You
yeah,
know?
how to drive, those
Yeah,
things that are
yeah,
programmed. But the
yeah.
rest, if it's a story that kind of, like, I don't even know if that's true.
Are you a person that, I mean, I kind of BS myself into virtually every job I've ever had and everything I've ever done, really, because I didn't know if I could do it or not until I tried. And a few
Mhm,
things I tried, well, they're not for me. And other things, oh, okay, yes, I can do it, but I do it Sarah's way, right?
mhm,
Not necessarily their way, but Sarah's way. And it was just kind of, I don't know about you, but it was always that pull. You've got to be Sarah. Stop apologizing for who you are and the way you do it.
mhm,
You know, this is what you are meant to do. This is what you were put here. Stop second guessing, right?
mhm, mhm. Yeah, that's a real good point. I for a long time I would like it sounded like I was making excuses, but I didn't realize until or saying, oh, this, that, whatever, like you're talking about, right? Yeah. Like you're sharing. But I realized that I had my guides, my peeps, they were talking story with me. So I would have these pauses, but it wasn't that I was thinking in my head. I was just trying to gather info. I
Yeah,
love information on all levels. So I went, oh, and I would say, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm going, I'm not sorry. I'm just using that as a filler
yeah,
or explaining things all the time. Somebody goes, when I was younger, they go, you don't have to explain yourself. And
no,
I'm going, I don't think I'm doing that, but I guess I am if you're saying I am. So
yeah,
then I got caught up in the human realm.
exactly.
Yeah, now I
Right.
just kind of go, oh my goodness. Okay, I see what I'm doing. That's all.
My
I'm
biggest
trying not
mistakes are in the
to.
human realm when I'm trying to be what other people want me to be.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, assimilate,
Yes,
assimilate,
yes.
kind of deal.
Resistance is futile. But I'm
Very
going to
cool.
keep resisting.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Because
okay.
I believe on the other side. But
Mhm.
I mean, it
Yep.
does make life extremely intriguing. And, I want to talk about your children's books because,
Oh, yeah.
an awful lot of seers, people might, we all get the gift in a different way, but a lot
Mhm.
of people have conduit written. Where it's just poured right through them.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Mhm.
I mean, I've got to say, Horace the cow, and I've got to tell a story about Horace. I had goldfish. And apparently, I thought it was the same goldfish for years, but apparently it would die. My dad would run off to the pet store. My mum would pretend to pour brandy in it and blow it back to life while he quickly switched it over. And then the night before we were going away for a 2-week holiday, Horace died, which my brother told me with great glee. I'm just a little girl, and we go on this trip, and we have the same waiter for the whole 2 weeks in the hotel. And I called him Horace. And at the end, he said, I'm very, very, very endeared that you know my name, but how did you know my name? He was actually called Horace.
How funny is that? Well, the children's books are actually they were inspired by my grandchildren.
Hmm.
Yeah. So and that's they definitely channeled. I had an editor to help me just with the whatevers, right? But Horace the cow came from, have you ever seen a cow climb a tree? And it's about finding yeah. And my grandson, we traveled from one end of the island to the other end of the island, and everything that he saw, goats, whatever, he would pick them out and say, "Oh, there's Horace."
Mm,
And I would go, "Oh, okay." So a story came from that, and
yeah.
then, the Horace the cow, and then the two sisters is dedicated to a good friend of mine that passed in 2019, Jacqueline. It's sisterhood, and then
Mm,
yeah, the Indigenous soul is something that I'm working on. That's all my work. I don't know
hmm.
if you want to call it a memoir or whatever, but it has 12 chapters in it, and it shares all my work there with stories in there. You talk about being woke. There's
Mm.
and this has been going on for a while. You know how books are. I've been writing this one. I've been writing
Yes,
this one. This year it's going to be actually fully published. Yeah. So
right.
that's kind of deal.
And do you find the writing just comes easily to you? Do you just, I mean, some people, they,
Mhm.
they recommend you do all the chapter titles and you have the whole format of where you want to go and the ending of the book. I can't do things like that. With my memoir, I just shut the world out for a few days and just wrote. And every time I do a blog or do a show on my own, it is whatever comes out. You know,
Yeah.
whatever comes out is meant to come out. Is that the way you write? Are you inspired by something and then you just let it come out?
That's a great question. The indigenous soul, which is really an indigenous alma means soul in Spanish, it is fully channeled because,
Mm,
yeah, I do have an editor to help me with what you just shared.
yeah.
I mean, first time she looked at it, she goes, "Where's your table of contents?" I said, oh, yeah. Where's your
Yes.
so
My
we,
brother's an author, so he set me all up on that type of
oh
thing.
my
So
gosh,
yeah.
that's great. No. So all of that, yeah, most of it's channeled. That's kind of how. So sometimes I have a difficult time saying I'm a writer because I feel it's kind of like I'm cheating in a way because.
I know what you mean, but
Mhm,
no, it is still you, right?
mhm,
It's still whatever wisdom is given to you, it is your own divine intellect that is translating and giving out on the paper there. So it's still you. It's just in partnership with.
exactly. Yeah, I appreciate that. I hear that, and then I think I might have. It's probably on there. The dragonflies. I channeled 52 dragonflies a while back out of a story, a vision that I had 2002, and I channeled all 52. And every time I read them, I go, "Whoa."
Mm.
Now I had my editor look them all over. There wasn't any. I think there was two of them. There was two of them out of 52 that needed some editing. The
Right,
rest were perfect.
right.
Yeah.
There is a wonderful, I think I've got his book up here. Where is it? Brian Freud, I think what it is. And he channeled fairies
Mm-hmm,
and he did a most incredible illustration to go
mm-hmm,
with it. And the story as told by the fairies to him
mm-hmm,
on who they were. And anybody who knows anything about fairies, fairies do not reveal themselves unless they wish to. You
mm-hmm,
can't go looking for them and hope to find them. They could be staring at you and you can't see them. They will reveal when they wish to be revealed. And so he
mm-hmm,
spent this time putting this together and it's utterly beautiful, the graphic and the story and everything else. And I think, for a lot of people, that channeling is just getting out of the head's intellect of how it should be and allowing the story to be what it's meant to be.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that actually.
Hmm.
I just kind of let it do and
Yeah,
be. No,
let it be.
seriously, I just kind of like, yeah. Yeah, the dragonflies, I wasn't much of a dragonfly person. So when I had that vision, I went, oh, that's interesting. So, and I love dragonflies, but they're not my, and they talk story with me. Each
Mm,
one of them has their own personality.
yes.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, dude. Yeah. So, yeah. One of my favorite ones is Jasper, who's the coyote. He's always floating around getting into trouble.
Do you relate to that?
He makes us laugh. My granddaughter, no, that's what TikTok. She wanted to put the dragonflies on TikTok. And I said, go for it, Chica. I just don't know what I'm doing when I'm there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that. My mum was an actress and a beautiful storyteller, and she wrote a
Mhm.
beautiful story about Horatio Mouse, um, who actually went to the jungle and became king.
Mm,
Right. And it's a lovely story of how the other animals trusted him and up against the ego of the lion. But it was all about the bringing people together to standing as a whole. And somebody wrote something the other day about the 1% and the 99% of the victims of the 1%. And I said, well, imagine if the 99% came together, right, in one beautiful frequency of love. And
mhm,
we showed kindness and caring to one another. And we actually did not support the 1%, but we supported each other. Would we see the scales change? I do think so. We give ourselves up so easily as
mhm,
slaves to something and then feel we're powerless. You are the one that's made yourself powerless.
mhm. I agree. I concur. Totally. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. You were talking about earlier about how the doom and gloom kind of deal. I
Mm,
don't subscribe to that. I
mm,
I don't say it's not happening.
right.
But
Acknowledge it, but
yeah,
give it all the loving energy it needs
yeah, yeah.
to thrive and not, not
Yeah.
die from it.
One
Yeah.
of my gals said, Julia, I just kind of look at it now and go, oh, I see you. I
Hmm.
said, right on. I had a client a long time ago that was a demolition person when they used to blow things up and stuff, right? And I was curious. I thought, what happens when you guys blow things up? I mean, let's say the detonation is too close. Do you guys run? He goes, oh, no, we do not run. And I go, what do you guys do? He said, we get quiet. Like you teach,
Yeah.
Julia, get quiet. Shh, shh, get quiet. And then we look to see what's falling and then we move.
Mm,
And I love that image
yes.
because exactly, yeah, of course, there's stuff going on. Like you were talking about your brother, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, aren't you? I go, yeah, but don't get in my space and try to freak me out. I just need to stay quiet so that I can see where I need to move.
Yeah.
Not budget. I'm not going to run. Dark on it.
No, no, you could be running right into the big block that's going to land on your head. So, yeah, but that is something I think, that I speak to a great deal of human awareness is that we're so busy dictating or demanding or reacting that we're
Mm-hmm.
actually not aware to actually what is around us.
Yeah, yeah. That's where the book Indigenous Soul came from. Uh,
Mm, yeah.
because I've heard people from different humans share things, and I'm like, I said, but we're indigenous souls.
Yes,
We
I love
all we
that.
all be here from here.
Yeah,
There's nowhere else. I mean, even if you are from somewhere else, you've chosen to be here on this planet in this time and space.
for a
You're,
reason.
yeah, for a reason. And maybe you want to see what that reason's about, or maybe you don't. It's free will, free agency.
That's the
Yeah.
thing,
You
you know,
can't make somebody be something or not or whatever. No matter
you know,
how much, Sarah, no matter how much, maybe my sisters could have seen it in 3 hours and it took me a minute, not
yeah.
longer than 3 hours. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
all
know,
good.
I know, and it's interesting because my brother's, I've interviewed him a few times on his books,
Mhm,
and he's kind of a moo cow, when it comes to like, no, 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 but when it comes to his writing,
mhm. Oh
he is
God.
incredibly dimensional, incredibly intuitive, and that's really the real him. He doesn't know how to be the real him in real life, right?
Mhm,
But I
mhm.
see him, and we have great conversations, and I love reading his books because they
Oh
always take me
yeah.
on beautiful journeys. But my sister is most certainly, I mean, she's got a good heart and everything else, but she is most certainly, buys into the next chaos. And
Mhm,
she doesn't get what I do. Like, I'm proud of you, but I don't know what you do. And because I'm there promoting that we help one another, that we're there for one another, that kindness and love and compassion and collaboration and all of that cohesiveness is what's going to save us as a human race and planet, and allowing the universe to be very much a part of us, she called me a do-gooder communist because that was the understanding of what I'm doing. So I basically told her to go somewhere.
that's a good one. I
But
mean,
it was
that's I know I've not had anybody share that with
no, no, but it's just like, where do you get that?
me. Mhm,
Where do you get standing up for humanity, supporting one another, supporting each one of our beautiful excellence and essence as
mhm.
do-gooding or communism? What's in your mind that's how you see it? Because I can't see things that way. And I am, when I was in that 8 year lull of being disconnected from, I don't think I was so much disconnected from spirit, but from heart. I am a true colors coach, the 4 key personality traits, which I find fascinating because I'm always fascinated by human nature. I actually wanted at that time to go into the prison system and interview various criminals of various levels to see which color they are, because I
Mhm,
had a theory of which color personality they were.
mhm.
I could do it then because I had removed myself from pain. I couldn't do it now because I would walk in there and feel everything.
Mhm. Yeah, I worked those genres in the past. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
It takes a lot out of you, doesn't it? Because people don't realize that, you know, um, I know when there's some disaster going on in the world, or a wave of something, you feel
Mhm.
it, and somebody go, "Oh, just put a white light, white light or a block around you. You just need to push it out." You don't understand.
Yeah.
It is. There is no choice in this. That's
Mm-hmm.
the frequency, that's the wavelength that you're picking up,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be quite encompassing sometimes, can't it?
Yeah, liquid light is what I
Mm.
call it.
Mm.
Mhm. Yeah, because you were in it. Yeah, just
Yeah.
depends on how aware and where your frequency is. Yeah,
How do you
frequency.
change that? How do you change that back into being a more positive vibe than rather a distraught one?
That's a good question. I don't know if I even. I mean, I do definitely the cult in my head.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh shit, we're going on a trip today.
Yeah.
do I go? Do I go knowingly or not? So it's like whoa. Um, I don't know, Miha. I think just understand for me. Okay, you asked the question. For me, it's when I first came in to understand what was going on.
Mhm.
I've only had a few human mentors. The rest have been in the non-physical realm,
Mhm.
and all of them have shared with me, where do you want to do your work from?
Yeah.
I said, oh, I didn't know I had, I mean, I really didn't know I had a choice
Mm.
consciously. Yeah.
Yes.
And so I shared with them, of course, the unconditional light of love
Mhm.
of myself and y'all. And then they educated me on that. Yeah, you can do that and then have that understanding of the other, of that part, that denser frequency. Yeah. So I don't know, Miha. That's a great question. I just
Mm.
bring myself back here and get
Yeah.
quiet. Whatever that might mean. It might mean for myself, breath work is important.
Yes.
So keeping my breaths in that movement. If my body starts doing interesting things, like starts going into um, unreasonable pain, is what I
Mm.
call it.
Yeah.
Then I go, oh, okay, Miha, get over here. And I just gather my peeps and
Yeah.
then we go work. But it sounds simple and easy, but that could take a minute, and that could take a
Yeah.
few days or whatever. I mean, I had epileptic seizures for almost 10 years,
Yeah, I know.
really. Yeah.
Right.
The last neurological thing that I had was in 2014. I had a mild stroke. And that I didn't, I knew why I had it. I did something that I probably, talking about boundaries.
Yeah.
When as you know, Miha, as we have children, we have grandchildren, and that's where I lose it. If someone's in danger, I just pop in.
Mm.
And that's what happened. One of my grandchildren was in danger and I popped in.
Hmm.
And as soon as I did it and I came back out, I knew something wasn't right.
Right.
And so I've had to learn, that's almost 10 years from that time, I had to learn how to not go there.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
like, you can send a certain amount of loving energy and white light and everything else, but you've got to be careful what you jump into.
Yeah, I
Right.
did. I knew when I did it.
Yeah.
I wanted, and then, it's just like it's like, actually, it's like, I know how reality is watching your grandchild go out in the middle of the freeway and
Mm.
you're not going to do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
you
So
don't think you do.
you just do. But with
Yeah.
everyone else, I do not.
Right.
That's not it. I don't care how close. With my grandchildren, I do what I call a pregnant pause, right? I'm going to do something, but I'm going to give it a little bit of a pause, get
Yeah.
really super quiet so that I can do what is best. Because I'm sure you know this also. We cannot walk anybody else's path.
No, and we can't walk it for them. We can't even tell them how to walk it. All we can do is prepare them
Mm-hmm.
with the tools, the skills, and the abilities to walk it for themselves. That our journey of life is for us to walk. But the
Mm-hmm.
wise ones you meet along the way are going to give you the tools in how to
Mm-hmm.
navigate through life so that when you come across a pothole, it's not going to become a Grand Canyon, right? And that, because we're going to get knocked down, we're going to come across things, we're still in the human vessel, human psyche, we're going to get hurt, we're going to get things that are going to upset us. It's how do we come out of it? How do we apply this thought, this psyche, this spirit in order to come out of it. And I think, we need to allow ourselves the human reaction of pain or grief or this and that, because it needs to be spent. We can't suffocate it. It needs to, that, I always say emotions are there for a reason. Spend them. Just don't become emotional over the emotions.
Exactly. Amen. Yeah, amen. Yeah, that's interesting. No, I mean, no, seriously, it's like, oh, I didn't really do any of that before. I
Yeah.
decided to kind of hang. I thought, oh, that's why people do that. Oh my gosh, that's what, oh, geez, Louise, praise the Lord. I just did not know. And I'm just like, okay, let's get back into our little, get back into that in that realm of being where there's both worlds functioning in the most beautiful, loving way, and recognizing that, yeah, you have a big, huge family here.
Mhm.
It's beyond my comprehension at times.
Yes.
Yeah, and so this is what I tell my grandchildren. I said, I share because they love coming here and being with me.
Hmm.
I mean, from the 30 something to the babies, they
Yes.
just love it. And I said, look, mijos and mijas, one is great. I love the one-on-one. Two's okay. Three, no bueno. I can't do three of you. I said, it's too much. Yeah. And so at first, my adult children didn't like that. And I said, look, I can only do so much. I'm getting up there in age, and
Yes.
I want to spend one on one with each one of them. So you're talking 27. So there's
Yeah.
somebody over here all the time. It's not
Right.
like, it's not like yeah.
Well, no,
Mm-hmm.
but also you're giving them your time in that way. You're giving them that focus. As
Mm-hmm.
my daughter is um, building me a house on her property, and her in-laws are just kind of down. We're all going to be on the same property.
Oh,
And their
that's
thing is that we're there to help them with the children right now, and later on they're there to look after us. Right. And of course we have a little Down syndrome little boy. We don't know what the challenges are going to be. So it will be all hands on deck. But I have actually said, yes, my house, my space. And, when grandma has something on the door, it means I'm interviewing. No, you can't come in, right? Otherwise, I look forward to the little knock on the door and the grandkids coming in. But, I'm only going to have two right now, not 27 of them.
I know, right? Yeah, I don't know what that's like, to be honest.
Right, exactly. And I don't know what age were you when you became first a grandmother?
In my 30s.
Right. You see, I was 66.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'd
Mm-hmm.
been waiting a long time, and I have a step granddaughter who's 8, but I don't get to see too much of her. And my son has married into her family. So,
Mm-hmm.
they're very, very engrossed in their family. So, and then I'm, with my daughter, and then the other daughter is what I call the Auntie Mame.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's
She,
phase one.
she can't wait
Mm-hmm.
for them to get older and take them off to museums and art galleries and this and that, that type of thing, which is wonderful. And that's how I was to my sister is 13 years older than me. So that's how I was to her children. I was kind
Mm-hmm.
of the Auntie May, showing them different things in life, which was exciting. Um, I think what people don't understand, when you see certain spiritual conglomerations where they purely live in 100% spirit and not really in the human realm.
Mm-hmm.
But very often I look at it and go, this is so much like religion, that a lot of the practices you're doing is just another form of religion. You may be tapping in a bit more, but what good is that beautiful spiritual essence if it's not combined with the human purpose?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. No, that's so true. That's walking in both worlds at the same
Yeah.
time, fully awake, fully
Mm.
present. That is really important for us as humans, especially now. And we have this opportunity right
Mm.
now to do just that. Like you were sharing, it's a bit more accepted,
Yes.
and not at the same time. It's kind of a oxymoron, I think, sometimes.
Well, it's the people that are resistant to it. It's the people that, haven't had maybe their cosmic 2x4, had that. Because most of the people, I've done 3,000 shows, and most of the people had something happen to them
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that put them on the path of their own meaningful purpose, their own life essence. And, some things have been absolutely horrific that have happened to them, but they
Oh, yeah.
discovered strength, they discovered courage, they discovered abilities, they discovered purpose, they discovered self-love and the
Mhm.
love of life. And then who they are today and what they're doing is absolutely a beautiful gift to all of us, right? But they
Mhm.
were willing to let go of the suffering, prepared to go through the struggles and the process of becoming to be the light they are today.
This is
And
true.
not everybody's ready for that journey.
No, 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 not everybody's ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a person that said something, a native man, and I really love the what he shared. He was talking about, of course, his path of being a native man here in California. And I shared with him, I said, I love what you said. He goes, I don't care what everybody else is doing. He said, just let me do what I need to do. And that's the way I feel. Just
Yes.
let me be who I be. I'm a Mexican woman. My parents from Mexico, indigenous people. Let me be my curandera. Let me be the curandera de las curanderas que ven. They see others. Let me just be. Don't tell me how to be
Yes.
a curandera because I'm not self-proclaimed there. This
Right.
this is something that was handed down, and I hold that very dear. Then for not my grandmothers,
Mm.
or not, yeah. And I don't want to disrespect them.
Yeah.
My human insecurities are nothing compared to what they had to
Yeah.
give up.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I come from a very Celtic background. And
Mhm.
and I kind of really relate to that. I'm not an earthy person. I am a spirit person. I am sky, I am wind, I am flow. Um, but I respect the earth is and I touch it as I land before I take flight again, because that's who I am, right? It's understanding our role. But I love the historical of what has been before, the good and the bad, because
Mhm.
it is what's made us who we are today. That human experience through the eons, along with our cosmic experience, and put the two together. I mean, they're absolutely divine. But there is something on your site that I would actually like to read because I think it's absolutely beautiful. Just be. Rejoice, my sweet one, my love, my heart. We are one, not separate. I speak to you and only you right now. You know the truth in your heart about us all. And right now I'm speaking to you from your soul and spirit, from our soul and spirit, from the world's universe, soul and spirit. This is the truth of all one. Truth. Know this, my sweet one, and be in love with your essence and open to this that all you are, love. Show them what love is on all levels. Showing this love comes in many ways. She, love, shows us how beautiful we are, even when the fear is rising. The key is to love all that comes our way, not hide it from ourselves, but to embrace it and let it go. Because letting go means it no longer is. It is no longer a part of who we are, and it is just a memory. Like an old movie that might have frightened us, but after we left the theater, we just shook it off. It is no longer a part of our thinking, and thus is no longer a part of our lives. We have the power to create everything we choose, and the love is our birthright, is always here in us, around us. It has no beginning, no end. It is endless. I think that is so beautiful.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. That's the light beams you were talking about. That was written somewhere in the early 90s or somewhere, and
Mhm.
I can't remember. And it was a vision.
Yes.
And I was
It's truth.
struggling.
It's
Yeah,
truth.
I was struggling with who do I talk story with?
Yeah.
Who do I share this with? And then
Yeah.
that came through. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And just like that is just utterly truth right there. It is
Right.
utterly
Yeah.
truth. Yeah.
So true. It's like not my truth, not your truth, the
The
truth.
truth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like, yeah. That's what I mean.
When people say, well, can you explain it? Can you think? No, I can't. It just is.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's like,
Yeah.
well, it's not my truth. Damn, if it were my, I can make up all that. I mean, my human brain is very intelligent, but it could not put all
Yeah.
that together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's the way, the way I love to do my shows. And when I write, it is I may have kind of something I wish to write about. And sometimes, when I press record on my own weekly shows, I might have one word. One word. I mean, yesterday I did mine. I looked outside of it. Spring has sprung, and then spring. Here we go. What's your next chapter? All the seeds we can plant now. Let's water them and just let it go. Let's let come out what needs to come out. But the only
Mhm.
trouble is I hadn't written it. So when it came afterwards, what did I say? Now I've got to write a blog on it.
I know, right? No, I hear you.
Yeah.
Totally. Same, Mija. Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
But
a.
I don't care what persecution I've been through in the past or what anybody else's opinion is, because that doesn't matter to me anymore. It doesn't matter if people are afraid of me or this of me or that of me, because that is out of my control. That's their opinion. They're entitled to it. I know who I am, why I am, what I'm here to do. And I am at last in my life, at peace with being me.
Qué bonito.
Isn't it a lovely place to be?
Oh God, yes. Oh my gosh, yes. It's like, what the hell was that about?
Yeah, exactly. Why did it take me so long? But we had to wait, I think, for that conscious rising. We had to wait for that energy rising because the universe has a plan. And that plan is to the awoken of humanity, for the rising of that consciousness. Because when we're in that higher consciousness of love, we can't knowingly do harm to anyone else. To do so is to harm ourselves, right?
Mhm.
So that volume needed to be turned up. And as it's been turned up, people are awakening. And then there's stepping into what they're meant to be. I say we're all here to kind of understand what is our instrument in life. We're here to learn how to play it. And yes, we can be soloists. But when we find the right orchestra to join, and we can, all in our each individual strengths, come together harmoniously and play out, then the symphony resonates out, becoming an inspiration and an invitation for all.
Yes, that's truth.
It's
That's
not
right
about
on.
just being part of the one and abstaining being. It's about a part of
Mhm.
your beautiful essence being part of the collective.
Exactly. I agree fully. hmm
So when people come to you, what can you help them with?
Oh, I'm so listening to you. I'm just like, I think she's wrapping up.
No, 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 no. We still haven't got to wrap up, but
Sarah, I
but I,
was
I
so,
do need to honor the work that you're doing.
I was so listening to you. Oh yeah, that's well. I was like not even here with me. So share with me. Ask me the question again.
What you offer other people on their journey of soul awakening.
Okay. Um, well, actually, that which is my stick is getting, again, the school without walls, walking both worlds at the same time.
Mhm.
Um, doesn't matter actually where you are most, we're all going to end up in the same place.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, Getting quiet, that stillness. If
yeah,
you were to ask all of the people that have come through, I do retreats and I have students and all of that good stuff. And they'll all say, Julia, what I teach is the four frequencies and vibrations of being.
yeah,
And how I mean, there's others, I'm sure, but I
yeah.
have four that I teach. And how to, like three are ego, and one
Mm,
is true, no thought, divine thought
yeah.
is the alma. How do we connect to our soul self of being?
Yes.
That's already there. Yeah,
Yes.
it's already there. But
Let's open up that channel and be.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, for you, I would think the channel's pretty open.
Yeah. But people are afraid to open it, or they don't know how to open it, or they're unaware that it's knocking at their door and they
yeah,
don't know where the doorknob is. So,
yeah, yeah.
you're
It's
helping them open up that channel and trust it, right?
exactly.
Feel it. It's no,
Mhm.
there is no fault here. It's feel.
No, yeah. Oh, it's just no thought. That's
Yeah,
a Yeah. It's divine thought. It's like we were talking about the truth,
yeah,
not Julia's truth or the
yeah,
Sarah's or whatever. It's the truth.
yeah,
And when I visit with people, I think a lot of people are really into like being told, and
yeah,
that's not I don't give certificates or
Right.
anything like that. And I always share with people to match their own medicine.
Mm.
So your medicine, Sarah, is your medicine. It is so personal to you.
Hmm.
And it may or may not resonate with someone else.
Exactly.
So it's when a person comes to me, it is, I have the beautiful, wonderful gift of being able to see
Mm.
and talk story with someone's soul self
Yeah.
from the beginning of their time to the end of time.
Yeah.
That is, I hold very dear and sacred.
Yes.
So, and that's something my ancestors have been doing forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is wonderful and great, and that's what I get to do. I don't share with people what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I share with them how to get quiet so they can see and be,
How
and
to
then
open up, to
yeah,
receive, and to trust what they
exactly.
receive. It's,
I love that trust because
yeah.
unconditional love is wonderful, and
Yeah.
I think that's great.
But you got to trust first.
Unconditional trust of what you're
Yes.
hearing, seeing, feeling, and all that good stuff.
The
Yeah.
vulnerability. The vulnerability. I think the greatest gift you can give to yourself is your vulnerability. Because when you are vulnerable, you are in trust. That doesn't mean that you haven't got the boundaries around you. It means that you're at that energy plane
Mm-hmm.
where the nasty energy can't reach you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're
Well,
in,
if your frequency is in the fine frequency of self, of
yeah,
unconditional love and trust, right on.
yeah,
Nothing can come in.
right.
Nothing. And that's the trust that, oh, no, no, no bueno. Yeah.
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 Yeah, and,
That
and it takes a journey to get there. But when you do get there, I think one of the things we don't do enough of, which I love, is silence. Like when I drive to my daughter, it's about an hour and 40 minutes away. I have no music, I have nothing. My mind is driving. So it's
mhm.
been kept busy.
Yeah.
And my spirit
Mhm.
is just doing what it needs to do. But I also love being in the dark and just being present with self.
Exactly.
But it's also when you're in nature, the wind rustling through the trees, the ocean hitting
Mhm.
the shores, the laughter of children and dogs,
Mhm.
just the sheer energy of everything around you. And, if we could trust that we're being supported all the time, we wouldn't feel so disconnected or so alone.
Exactly. Exactly. And I just think it's just wonderful. I know it's just wonderful. Like your grandbabies,
Yeah.
my grandbabies and your great grandchildren, they're all angels. They've never been
Yes.
here before. They have
Yeah.
no past lives. They're here in this time and dispensation. It's been going on for quite a while. But that's why when you see I talk to a lot of grandmothers or parents that'll go, my child is real. I said, yeah, you got an angel.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? I said, they've never been here in human form.
The indigo kids, right?
No,
Purity.
it's beyond that.
Mm,
Those are back there.
yeah.
That's if you want to talk about my stick, my real stick is working with the seeables.
Right.
These are children. These are the
Yes.
angels. These are the ones that I've been waiting for to come
Mm,
and be your grandchildren, Mija.
yes.
And that's
I'm
what.
looking at both of my grandchildren, and this little one I have right now, little Roro, he's a little earthy.
Mhm,
He's earthy. But I know that little Louis that's coming, a
mhm,
special little child that's coming,
mhm,
he's of spirit. And the two of them together are going
mhm,
to form such a connection that
mhm.
then will become the whole for others to see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I work with the kids if it's appropriate with the parents, they'll bring
Yes.
the kids in. Yeah. Anyways, that's a whole nother thing. But my son, Luca, he has three sons, and his first and his last, his first and his third are dead on seers in the Soviet. And some people think, oh my gosh, that's great and wonderful. And it is. And the second one, he said, he cried. He said, in a good, it's a challenge when you have children that are seers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even though he has me and he said, oh my gosh, Mom, Kalani, I said, I know, honey. He goes, I'm so glad he doesn't have the gift.
Yeah.
And that's truth.
Yeah.
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 I mean, Kalani can see, but not the way the
Yeah.
first, the last one do.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Is that okay to think that way?" I said, "Oh God, yes."
Mm-hmm.
Please, yes. Because
It,
when we
it's
all come here, when you said that, we all come here for certain things. And
yes.
Kalani's going to walk the earth path a bit more. He's very, he's interesting, beautiful, amazing little boy. And I said, he's just going to be more, earthy type
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
But Nakoa and Jackson are going to, yeah, and no worries, I'll be there for them. And he goes, okay, good. Because my son had a rough time with all his abilities and stuff. There was different. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
So,
I hear because it is, I didn't have, although my mum was a seer, we called
mhm,
it Fae, we all had the ability to read. It
mhm,
was not something that we kind of advertised, wasn't something that was spoken about, right?
mhm,
But also I was considered just really not of this world and uneducated because I didn't finish school. And basically, let's just hope she makes a good marriage. And yet, nobody kind of, just thought that I was a bit dim-witted, really, right?
mhm,
Because I wasn't kind of in their zone.
mhm,
And education to me was, what's the wisdom I need to know to understand the knowledge?
mhm.
I have to have the wisdom to understand what the knowledge means, not the knowledge for knowledge's sake.
Exactly. I agree with you. The school system, we don't get on with
Well,
that.
I've got a
Yeah.
book coming out later in this year, a collaborative book, and it's on raising our gifted children, but it's on the Forgotten Children series. And it is
Mm,
on that if we paid more attention to the essence of the souls of our children, allowed them to teach us so we can guide them instead of
mhm.
dictating,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's actually one of the archetypes, right? One of
Yeah.
the archetypes is the seeable. They're archetypes that my peeps helped me put together. And that's pretty much what it is, because it's like I think it's a collaborative with our children and our
Yes.
grandchildren. It's not like well, we're around the same age, so it's to be seen and not heard, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though they knew who you be,
Yeah.
there was still that conforming to being in this world.
Well, it's
And
interesting, because my daughter is a person that sees people from the inside out, but she's got more practical thing of her. She actually said to me, don't talk spirit with Roro too early because it actually scared me growing up,
oh, okay.
which
Mm-hmm.
was interesting. I didn't know that because she would literally stay home on a Saturday night where everybody else with their friends and we would have an evening together and I would completely go spirit. And I didn't realize that it scared her. But I think
Mm-hmm.
it's because although she's incredibly instinctual because gut out, she's practically very practical in what she does, right? And
Mm-hmm.
she's scared that it's going to scare him. He and I have already got that bond. We've
Oh,
already got that signature. So
yeah.
I'm not going to scare him because he's already there.
Mhm.
But
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, but I can appreciate what your
yeah,
daughter was sharing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be mindful of, how much I reveal, but I don't think I think he's going to reveal to me, right?
Mhm.
And then they'll know where that door is open. But is I just love watching him play, watching him in his little world. He's quite
Mhm.
methodical. He's quite a methodical person. Um, so he's got a plan. He's definitely got a plan. And I think what we should do is pay attention to our children's plans and stop interfering.
Amen. No, seriously, that is
Mm.
like the truth there.
Yeah.
Yeah. My beautiful best friend, he must be like 17 now, but I remember when he was born, it was beautiful to watch her with this beautiful young man. And I learned so much about the human aspect of how blessed we are with certain, I don't know where spectrum your grandson is, but
He's Down syndrome, so I don't
yeah,
know.
I mean,
We don't
there's,
know the level yet until he's born. We know physically he's all right so far, but
yeah,
we don't know the learning curve until he's born, obviously.
yeah. So I learned a lot, and I have a special needs grandson that's on the autism,
Hmm.
and it's interesting. They teach us so much about
Yes.
being, like
Yes.
it's not like it's a, we're all thinking, oh, we need to tell Petey boy, that's my grandson, how to be. And then he's like, not.
Exactly. No, I've
Yeah.
interviewed so many autistic children or people or
Mhm.
adults, and
Yeah.
the adults were persecuted for not being. They were treated less than. And then when they
Mhm.
realized what they were, they felt so relieved just to be. And with a lot of the other autistic people, young people, they have such focus in on their gift, on their creativity. All right. They
Mhm.
just maybe don't want to socialize with everyone because they pick up different energies and they want to keep a tight circle of energy they know that they're harmoniously in. So they're selective,
Yes, they are.
focused and selective. Perhaps we could learn something from that.
You think?
Hmm.
You think, Mija?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah. So
I think, this is something we need to get out of as human beings. We think that we're better than. We think that we know all because we're humans. We think that we're entitled to more. We think that but we're superior. And in all honesty, in our actions, it has not proven so.
you mean to children?
No, just to adults, human race as a race. We've stepped into
Oh,
entitlement,
I'm sorry.
right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
As the overculture, definitely.
Yes. And
Mhm.
when we're looking at that, I like watching talent shows, and some of these children will come along 6 or 7 or 8, doing magic or singing. And when they sing, it's just like pure soul. Or when they're doing the magic, such confidence. And then you look at these kids and you go, and even when they don't go through,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Such grace.
Hmm.
And it's like, hello, everyone else. Example of how to be. You know?
Hmm.
Because we
No.
have got very self-opinionated that we are be all and end all, but our actions do not say that.
Yeah, that's
Our
true.
actions speak differently. And there's a lot to be learned from. I mean, we've seen so much with the animal kingdom where species are not meant to mix and they're being enemies, but they are living from compassion. Children
Mhm.
who don't see color, they don't see differences. They just see the same vibe. They just resonate on the same frequency. We've got to stop interfering and we've got to start tapping into what they're taking. Remember when Harry met Sally? I'll have what she's having.
Mhm.
All right. So I think kind of whatever our beautiful spirits are doing, whatever our beautiful spiritual children and animal kingdom is doing, let's tap
Mhm.
into that energy.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, sir, my people have. But that's what I mean. I
Yeah.
mean, we have. That's where I come from. That's
Yes.
why I
We
love.
just, we just,
I mean,
I don't
it's
know
just,
if people don't trust it or they just don't want to pay attention to it or they're scared of it. I think mostly fear because society has made this a villainous thing to be a
yeah,
seer and open up, right? And if they
yeah.
could get rid of the fear and trust the feeling and just let it in, then they realize, oh God, what have I been missing all my life?
Yeah. Like the overculture, what I mean by overculture could be whoever's running the show
Yeah.
in whatever country you're in, could be anywhere
Ego.
in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ego and
So
insecurity. Hmm.
yeah, fear, a lot of fear. Yeah, definitely.
Great deal of
Fear and yeah, fear.
yeah, yeah.
They do, yeah.
In all multiple levels on so many
Mhm.
different scales. I mean,
Yeah.
it's but I think we've been taught to be fearful even though we don't know what we're fearful about because it's a form of control. And
Oh
this is where we
yeah,
need to snap the strings and say, no, I will decide what I'm fearful about. You're not going to tell me.
exactly. No, I agree with that. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We can help the people whose spirits want to rise if they're willing to take the journey, if they're willing to open up and let it in. Can't help anyone who's not willing because everything is about free will, isn't it?
yes, free will, definitely. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
This is the only, from my understanding, from where I've been, it sounds like you've traveled also, that there's not another solar system that has the free will thing.
Yeah.
So, hey, we're doing it. Then there's a reason behind that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm doing my thing here and giving it what it needs in the moment of time and space that I'm in now. All those other dimensions and things like that. As long as I hang here, all that others is taken care of.
Mhm.
This
Let
is
it be, let it be.
I know, right? Yeah, the
And
same.
just be,
Yeah. This
you know,
unbeaten.
if just, say to people, please, you may have a vision. I get given visions all the time, you know, 5 years ago, and exactly where to take my business. And it's slowly getting there now, but I had to wait for the synchronicity of all the other people I was going to collaborate with, for
Yeah.
them, for their seedings to grow, for us to be able to come together. And it's, I used to be in a person in a hurry, and I realize now I'm going to get more done by just riding the wave, which sometimes may come to a complete standstill for whatever reason, and then pick up another wave. And I've
Mhm.
learned to be the plodder and enjoy the journey instead of rushing to harvest, picking things up before they're ripe. So
Mhm.
it's, I don't know if it's an age thing or a journey thing, but it's certainly something that I wish that more people would experience.
Yeah, yeah. I call it, you've seen Finding Lima. Lima.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that writing the turtles. When you
Yes.
go to Hawaii, Mija, that's the most wonderful thing is to watch those turtles in the ocean,
Yeah,
especially
my
when.
daughter was there beginning of the year. She went over to a yoga retreat, and she was meant to
Mhm.
leave, but they had the whole turtles
Oh,
going. She said she stayed. She said it was just a wonderful experience, and she's going to go back there again next year just for that
yeah.
experience.
They're,
Yeah.
I mean, they're hundreds of years old, some of them.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that whole Finding Nemo was when they were writing the Australian stream,
Mm.
and those turtles come in. So I just write the stream, and then some. I was mentioning to somebody, I said, "Yeah, well, you don't want to follow Dora, but actually, Dora didn't get you into a whole lot of problems,
Uh-huh.
because she was good. Yeah, I said she kind of like what I call a good little distraction here and there.
Yeah.
But whatever medicine you want to, whatever story, however you want to be in this world, match the medicine.
Yeah.
Always that's what I share with my persons that I work with.
Yeah.
You ask that question, is it's about finding your medicine.
Yeah.
Work with people sometimes and they like boom, they nail it. We nail
Yeah.
it. Boom. And then others
Yeah.
kind of hang out a little bit longer and they're going, why don't you tell, they'll go, why did you tell me? I said, it's not my job to tell you. I'm here to,
Show you.
like
Hmm.
comedy, you're like, hey, maybe you just want one fishing boat to go out there
Right.
and fish. Maybe you want a fleet. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's your thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We're
they
going
go,
to know
oh,
which doors to open, and
yeah.
what to let flow out, and then how to ride the wave. Again, I
Mhm.
think one of the thing is surrender.
Gosh, yes.
Surrender and relinquish your control, because then you will go where you need to go
It works every single time.
every single time. All
I
right?
don't know about that other thing that goes on upstairs in the brain.
You're right.
Uh, Too many detours.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Exactly.
that's the free will. Hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
But
right.
it's also, it's like when I lay on water, I can actually
Mhm.
go to sleep on water, and you're just feeling the water all around
Mhm.
you, and everything is that such incredible conduit of all that you need to have. And it's also to know which channels we hear or see best from, and
Mhm.
to know how to open those channels and trust those channels. And we've really got to go become more in tuned with self to understand what is our instrument, what is our healing modality. How do we open up those channels? Because we could have a floodgate of channels, and you're not meant to have all of them.
Mhm.
There's one or two channels there that this is my wave. This is my wave, right?
Exactly.
And it
Mhm.
might take you a little while to get there, but with due diligence and the willingness to be open and to receive and let go and surrender, you'll find your wave.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. Um, Amen. I agree with you on that. Hmm.
We have the answers. We are the answer. It's just how are we going to apply the answer?
Yeah, that's the knowing within. That's
Hmm.
what I. It's like some of the clients. I'll go, oh my gosh, Julia, it is a knowing within. I said, yeah,
Mm.
it's if anything, it's a remembrance.
Yeah.
When I just call it a hit. I use very simple words. When they get a hit, I
Mm.
go, there you go, Mija.
Yeah.
There you go, Mijo. They go,
Yeah.
that's what you're talking about. I said, yeah.
Yes.
I go, can you describe that? They go, no. I said, there you go. It's
Exactly.
your personal hit.
Yeah,
I,
it's
yeah.
beyond human description, isn't it? Because
Mhm.
there aren't the words to describe how you feel, but the
Mm-mm.
feeling of enrichment and abundance and pure light is just, and pure love. Everybody thinks love has to be this beating heart, but it is actually supreme peace. When I do go traveling up into the universe and I'm in that vast universe, I am everything and nothing.
Mhm.
I am all knowledge and I know nothing. And it is
Mm.
such a peaceful, beautiful, supportive place to be.
It is. I agree. Totally agree with that. Yeah. And not everybody needs to do that.
No,
Yeah. I mean, I've had people say, well, I want to kind of call myself the GP of the work
yeah,
that we do because general practice, I can go into wherever I need to go into. So, one client says, I'm going to really see my peeps. And I said, okay, and then I'm kind of getting like, she's not ready. But so okay, we'll do blah, blah, blah. Matched her medicine, kind of shared with her what she needed to do. And then she, she texts me, oh, no, 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 I don't want to do that. I said, yeah, I prepared you. I put stuff around to make sure you're nice and protected, and
yeah,
got your insurance. Like I don't like to use protection because that presupposes something's going to come after
right,
you. So
exactly.
I use insurance.
Yeah.
We put a lot of insurance around
Or
you.
assurance. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
insurance, assurance.
yeah,
So because you have insurance for your car, and you don't want to get an accident, but
right.
so they go, oh, I don't want to do that. And I go, I kind of figured you, but it's okay. I don't tell people they can't go places, but I also, if they ask me and I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea because if they're in my house and they're in my realm, which is unconditional love, the
Mhm,
school without walls, we call it SWOW. If
mm,
they're in SWOW, it's unconditional love of self and wonderfulness. And I have all this good whatever. And if somebody's working with me, if they're hanging with me and they want to go do blah, blah, I'll look and I'll go, oh, that's too much cleanup,
mm,
and I'll just share with them, if
yeah,
you go do that, it's going to take it. You can do whatever you want to do. People have full lives. I'm not, they don't have to follow me because they're not following me. That's
right.
the thing.
You're guiding them, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, we're kind of hanging together. Yeah.
Hmm.
This is the way I look at it, Sarah. Just like you, Miha. I don't know. I don't know. This time around, I'm the one that's kind of like leading or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Mm,
Maybe some other time they were doing that.
yeah.
So it's a big responsibility. And I use a lot from what everybody shares. I use a lot of humor and
Mm,
lightness because what we're working with and how we're being in this time, this dispensation in time and space, it's not for the faint at heart.
no, no.
Yeah, it's for those that have said, hey, you know what?
I've
I'm
made
going
the
to show
choice.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm going to be fully awake in both worlds, and let's go rock and roll. Let's do this.
Right.
And
Well, I
so,
can perceive you as you're the conductor, but you're helping them write the music.
yeah, kind of, sort of. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, definitely.
It's their music, but you're just conducting it in
Hmm.
a way that it brings out, the real notes that they need to pay attention to, right?
Not the analytical notes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
because I hear things and I go, oh, that no, like this computer stuff, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
not us, but yeah. And I go, oh no, no, let's fill that, let's fill those up. Yeah. And
Well,
I say,
it's like when you watch somebody kind of coaching a singer, and it's like, this sounds really good, that sounds really good, but I know that when you go here, you're right, and you sing from there, and then
mhm,
suddenly they set themselves free and they sing
mhm,
from that place and it transcends the song, opens them up completely. So,
mhm,
kind of that's the kind of the conductor I look at you being, where they need to come from. They've still
mhm.
got to do it. They've still got to sing the
Oh,
song,
yes, please.
but
Yeah,
what you're doing is showing them where they can come from.
yeah, yeah, like definitely. Yeah. My little thing is always a little bit, I say, I'm looking for that dominoes. And they go, what do you mean?
Mm,
It's a frequency and vibration. I'm
yeah,
listening, right? Yeah. But you set up a dominoes, we all have, and then you're looking for that, just that one you're gonna hit.
yeah.
Yeah. It
And then
may
pop, pop,
take,
pop, 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 pop,
yeah,
pop,
exactly. And they all go, we hit the dominoes, Julia. I said, oh, right. You go, hermanita. You go take it wherever you need to take it.
wherever you need to go.
Yes,
Just
yes.
write it and send me a postcard.
Exactly. Thank you. Totally. Thank you. That's totally exactly. Yeah. Through the
Yeah.
dragonflies, through the work, through the retreats, through the, we call it the Master Alma class. We used to
Right.
call it Master Soul class, but that was way before Oprah did it.
Yeah.
I went, oh shucks, I'm going to change that because I don't, somebody says, did you know she's doing? I said, oh, I've been doing that for a while, but it's okay. We'll
Yeah.
just call it Master Alma class, which we call Mac class, the Mac
Right.
class. Yeah, and people go, oh, new, you got a new Mac. I said, no, 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 it's something. Yeah, yeah,
Well, I mean, I'm loving the title of the site, which is the school without walls.net. That's
yes.
.net, folks, the school without walls.net. And of course, people can reach out to you, schoolwithoutwalls@live.com. You're on Instagram, School Without Walls, Facebook, School Without Walls. Uh, where else are you? I know you're on TikTok. You're going to send me that link.
Yeah.
But it's all there, and of course the books, the children's books, which is just great to see because we're by helping our children navigate their own path to actually understand which paths to take in life, trust their gut, trust their instincts, trust their spirit, right, and go with what feels right in the moment. If we can teach them that through storytelling, and
Mm,
then it's giving them permission to just be without the dictation of what what we think they should be, and they are in a lot of ways our saviors, so we need to make sure that we're there to protect them right now on this journey.
yeah. Sarah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you. You're doing such amazing work.
Right back at you,
And
darling.
I got so engrossed in what you were talking about. I like, oh, that's right. She's interviewing. That was, I've done quite a, I haven't done as many as you have, but I've been guests through the years lots of times. And it's always great, but this has been like, a class. Like I just went on a lecture. I don't know, you name it, whatever
We
kind of
just took a
medicine.
journey together.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I was trying to give it a human word, and there's no human words for what it is. So,
We were in flow.
yeah, more power to you, Mija. Right on.
Thank you very much, and welcome. Come back anytime. I'm certainly going to be promoting the books. And also, when is your new book going to be ready, The Indigenous Soul?
We're hoping by Christmas. Yeah,
Excellent.
everything.
Wonderful. You're going to
Mhm.
have to let me know all about that one. I'll make sure that it's here on your show blog, or come back and tell us all about it. And, I think what Indigenous really stands for is core, the core of our soul, the core of our culture, the core of our people. Right? A lot of people think, well, it's just native Indian, or it's just this, it's just, no, it's the core. It's going back to the core where people listen to the land, listen to the stars, listen to the sky, made the connection, honored the world they were in, honored the world from which they came from, and they lived from that core essence of being. And I think kind of the Indigenous soul is like, I'm always here for you. I will always here to guide you. I'm always here to ignite your heart and soul and spirit into action. Just trust me, tap into me, let me love you, and let me show love through you.
Amen. This is true. Hmm. Yeah,
Back to basics, right?
yeah. Back to that which is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Where we're meant to be. Thank you
Mhm.
so much.
Very
We've
well.
we've done nearly 2 hours because the
Oh, we have.
conversation just flowed. Yes.
Oh, shucks. Wow, that was long. I mean, I didn't know. I didn't realize. I
No,
did.
no, but
Yeah,
that's the
yeah. But
beauty
you're
of
gonna.
these shows. That's what I like about it. We're not a 10 minutes fish and flash and dash. It is about allowing the story to be untold and taking us wherever it needs to go. And this is where we went today. And I love it. So thank you for traveling with me.
Okay. Well, thank you, Miha. I appreciate you and all
My
the work
right
you're
back
doing.
at you, right back at you, darling, right back at you. So until next time, folks, know that our soul is always there with us. It's speaking to us whenever we choose to listen. It ignites our heart into excitement and love and passion and conviction. Spirit wants to get into action. Then the mind will know what it needs to know when it needs to know it. Just get it out of your head's way, trust the feeling, and let your soul guide you. Until next time, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Find all of our shows on selfdiscoverymedia.com under podcasts or selfdiscoverymedia/shows. And for all our current shows, go to What's New. We are supported by you, the audience. You'll see a nice big shiny blue button for one-time donations or follow us on Patreon, and you will be able to support us there. We enjoy bringing you such wisdom, and the next show will be up in just a moment.